Why most people stay broke. What if I told you that the reason most people stay broke has nothing to do with how much money they make? Sounds crazy, right? Because we've all been told the same story. Make more money, get a better job, work harder, and eventually you'll become wealthy. But if that were true, then every doctor would be rich. Every lawyer would be wealthy. Every software engineer would be financially free. Yet millions of Americans earning six figures are still living paycheck to paycheck. Think about that. How can someone make $100,000 a year and still feel broke? And why do some people making half that amount quietly build wealth year after year? The answer might completely change the way you think about money. Because the biggest financial trap isn't low income. It's something far more dangerous. And chances are, you're caught in it right now. Relatable problem. Let's be honest. Most people don't feel poor because they don't have money. They feel poor because money disappears. The paycheck arrives. For a brief moment, everything feels fine. Then reality hits. Rent, mortgage, car payment, insurance, credit cards, subscriptions, groceries, gas, unexpected expenses. And suddenly, the money is gone. Then comes the waiting for the next paycheck, waiting for payday, waiting to finally feel financially comfortable. But somehow that day never comes. Maybe you've experienced this yourself. Maybe you've promised yourself that things would get better after your next raise, or after you got a better job, or after you paid off one bill. But every time income goes up, expenses seem to rise right alongside it. And before you know it, you're back where you started, working hard, making money, yet feeling stuck. And here's the scary part. Most people think this is normal. They think this is just how life works. But what if it isn't? What if most people aren't trapped because they don't make enough? What if they're trapped because they're playing the wrong game? Story. Meet Jake. Jake isn't lazy. He's not irresponsible. He's not bad with money. At least not in the way most people imagine. Jake graduated college, got a decent job, started earning around $60,000 a year. Nothing extraordinary, but enough to build a good life. At first, things looked promising. His first paycheck felt amazing. For the first time in his life, he had real money coming in. So he rewarded himself. A newer car, nothing crazy, just something nicer. Then came a better apartment, a few vacations, a newer phone, streaming subscriptions, dining out more often, normal stuff. The kind of things almost everyone does. And for a while, life felt great. Then Jake got a raise. Finally, more money. But something strange happened. The raise disappeared. Not instantly, slowly, almost invisibly. A slightly more expensive apartment, a higher car payment, more shopping, more convenience, more spending. And somehow, even though Jake was making more money than ever, he felt exactly the same. Still stressed, still checking his bank account, still waiting for payday, still wondering where all the money went. Then one day, he met an old friend, someone who earned about the same amount he did, but their lives looked completely different. No financial stress, no panic, no constant money worries. And Jake couldn't understand why. Because on paper, they were earning almost the same income. That meeting would eventually change everything. But before we reveal what happened, we need to understand the real reason people stay broke. And it has almost nothing to do with income. Why it happens. Here's something most people never realize. Human beings are incredibly adaptable. That's usually a good thing. But financially, it can be devastating. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation. In simple terms, we quickly get used to improvements. The new car feels exciting for a few weeks, then it becomes normal. The bigger house feels amazing for a few months, then it becomes ordinary. The raise feels life-changing until it becomes expected. Humans don't stay satisfied for long. We adapt. And because we adapt, our lifestyle keeps expanding. The problem is that income growth often gets eaten by lifestyle growth. You make more, you spend more, you make even more, you spend even more, and the cycle continues. The result? You can double your income without doubling your wealth. In fact, you can increase your income dramatically while staying financially stuck. And that's exactly what happens to millions of people. Not because they're stupid, not because they're lazy, because they're human. And modern society is designed to encourage spending. Every advertisement, every social media feed, every influencer, every commercial, they're all sending the same message. Buy this. Upgrade that. You deserve more. The system isn't built to make you wealthy. It's built to make you consume. And most people never realize they're trapped inside it. Biggest mistakes. Let's talk about the 5 biggest mistakes keeping people broke. Mistake number 1. Confusing income with wealth. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. Someone earning $50,000 while saving and investing consistently can become wealthier than someone earning $150,000 who spends everything. Mistake number 2. Buying liabilities before assets. Most people buy things that take money out of their pockets. Cars, gadgets, luxury items. Meanwhile, wealthy people focus on assets, investments, businesses, cash flow producing opportunities. One group buys things that cost money, the other buys things that make money. Mistake number 3. Living on future income. Credit cards make this incredibly easy. People spend tomorrow's money today, then spend years paying for purchases they've already forgotten. Mistake number 4. Waiting to invest. Most people think investing starts when they become rich. In reality, investing is often how people become rich. Mistake number 5. Trying to look wealthy instead of becoming wealthy. This might be the most expensive mistake of all, because appearances are expensive. Real wealth is usually invisible. Deeper truth. Here's the deeper truth nobody talks about. The financial game isn't won by the smartest people. It's won by the most consistent people. We love stories about overnight success. We love hearing about people who got rich quickly, but most wealth isn't built in dramatic moments. It's built quietly, small decisions, repeated over years, a little saved, a little invested, a little discipline, again and again. The magic isn't intensity. The magic is consistency. And that's where most people fail. Not because they don't know what to do, because they don't keep doing it long enough. The people who build wealth understand something powerful. Success doesn't come from one perfect decision. It comes from thousands of ordinary decisions made correctly. And that's exactly where we'll continue in part 2. Why most people stay broke. Part 2. Solution. Part 1. So how do you escape the cycle? How do you stop living paycheck to paycheck? How do you start building actual wealth? The answer isn't complicated, but it does require a shift in how you think. Let's start with the first step. Pay yourself first. Most people pay everyone else first. The landlord, the bank, the credit card company, the utility company. Then they try to save whatever is left. The problem? There's usually nothing left. Wealthy people reverse the process. The moment money enters their account, they pay themselves first. Even if it's just 10%, even if it's just 5%, the amount matters far less than the habit, because habits become systems, and systems create results. Think about it this way. Imagine someone invests $300 every month, not occasionally, not when they feel motivated, every month. Year after year, that person is quietly building a machine that works while they sleep, while they work, while they take vacations, while they spend time with family. Most people underestimate how powerful that becomes, because the results aren't immediate. And that's exactly why most people quit. We live in a world addicted to instant gratification. We want results today. We want transformation tomorrow. We want success immediately. But wealth doesn't work that way. Wealth rewards patience. And patience is becoming a rare skill. The second step is simple. Track your money, not because budgeting is exciting, because awareness changes behavior. Imagine trying to lose weight without knowing what you eat. Sounds ridiculous, right? Yet millions of people try to improve their finances without knowing where their money goes. The truth is shocking. Most people leak money everywhere. Small purchases, random subscriptions, impulse spending, convenience fees, food delivery. None of these seem dangerous individually, but together, they quietly drain thousands of dollars every year. And because the spending is spread out, it feels invisible until you finally add it up. That's when reality hits. And reality can be uncomfortable, but reality is where change begins. The third step is eliminating high-interest debt. Because debt works against you, every dollar spent on interest is a dollar that can't build your future. Think about that. When you're paying high interest, you're helping someone else build wealth, not yourself. And that's why paying off expensive debt often creates one of the highest guaranteed returns available. Before investing aggressively, many successful people first remove the financial anchors holding them down. Then they accelerate. And that's when things start to change. The secret most people miss. Here's something fascinating. The wealthy often focus less on earning more and more on keeping more. Most people spend years trying to increase income, and that's important. But increasing income without controlling spending is like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. You work harder, you earn more, yet nothing changes. Because the leaks remain. That's why financial success isn't only about earning. It's about retaining, protecting, growing, compounding. The money you keep is far more important than the money you impress people with. And that's a lesson many people learn too late. Solution Part 2: Advanced Strategies. Now, let's talk about what successful people do differently. Because the wealthy don't just save money, they make money work. Most people trade time for money. Successful people eventually learn how to make money generate more money. That's a completely different game. Imagine two people, both earn $5,000 per month. Person A spends almost everything. Person B invests a portion consistently. At first, their lives look similar, but eventually something incredible happens. Person B develops a second source of income, not from a second job, from assets, investments, businesses, ownership. And that's where true financial freedom begins. The wealthy understand a powerful principle. If you don't own assets, you'll spend your life paying people who do. Think about that. Every time you rent a property, someone owns the asset. Every time you buy products, someone owns the company. Every time you use a service, someone owns the system. Ownership changes everything. Because ownership allows you to benefit from growth. That's why so many financially successful people focus on acquiring assets over time, not overnight, not through get-rich-quick schemes, through consistency. The next advanced strategy is automation. This sounds boring, but it changes lives. Why? Because motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll feel discipline, some days you won't. Successful people don't rely on motivation. They build systems. Automatic investing, automatic saving, automatic transfers. The less decision-making required, the higher the chance of long-term success. Because success isn't usually about making one great decision. It's about removing opportunities to make bad ones. And automation does exactly that. Success story. Let's go back to Jake. Remember him? The guy who kept getting raises but never seemed to get ahead. One day something happened. Nothing dramatic. No lottery ticket, no inheritance, no miracle investment, just a realization. He was earning more money than his parents ever had, yet he felt financially trapped. And for the first time, he stopped blaming his income. He started examining his habits. He canceled unnecessary expenses, paid off high-interest debt, started investing automatically, built an emergency fund, focused on assets instead of appearances. At first, nothing changed, and that's where most people quit. Because progress was invisible. The account balances moved slowly. The investments grew gradually. The wins felt small, but Jake stayed consistent. Month after month, year after year, 5 years later, his entire life looked different. Not because he got lucky, because compound growth finally became visible. His investments generated income. His savings created security. His stress decreased. His options increased. And perhaps most importantly, he stopped worrying about every paycheck. The irony? He didn't feel richer because of the money. He felt richer because of the freedom. And that's what wealth really buys. Freedom. Action plan. So if you're serious about changing your financial future, start here. Step 1. Calculate exactly where your money goes. Not roughly. Exactly. Step 2. Build an emergency fund. Even a small one creates breathing room. Step 3. Eliminate high-interest debt. Make this a priority. Step 4. Start investing immediately. Even if the amount feels small, the habit matters more than the number. Step 5. Increase your income over time. Learn skills. Create value. Stay curious. Step 6. Buy assets consistently. Focus on ownership. Step 7. Ignore appearances. Stop trying to look rich. Start trying to become rich. Repeat these steps long enough, and your financial life will begin to change. Not overnight, but permanently. Powerful conclusion. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Most people stay broke for reasons that have nothing to do with intelligence, nothing to do with luck, and often very little to do with income. They stay broke because small financial mistakes repeated for years become massive consequences. The good news? The opposite is also true. Small, smart decisions repeated for years become extraordinary results. The future you want isn't built in a single day. It's built one decision at a time, one investment at a time, one habit at a time. Every dollar you spend is casting a vote for your current lifestyle or your future freedom. The choice is yours, and every day you delay making it, someone else is building the future you're capable of creating for yourself. Final call to action. If you found value in this video, make sure to subscribe, because understanding money isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about avoiding the mistakes that keep people broke for a lifetime. And in the next video, we're going to talk about the biggest wealth building force in history, a force so powerful that it can turn ordinary people into millionaires, even if they never earn an extraordinary income. You don't want to miss that. I'll see you in the next video.